And Greg, we are live, just like that. Hey, everybody, how you doing? Greg, how are you today? Looks like Greg was on another call that he just abruptly got off in order to join us today, and I appreciate that. Aaron will not be trying to finalize the DV2022 case and get that filed today. Greg, how are you? How was your weekend?
Weekend was.
Greg, you're silent. Your voice is no voice, man.
Hang on. Keep talking.
Still no voice. You got to click that correct button so we can get you on here. While Greg's doing that, I will note that today, and maybe Greg was on this earlier, there has been a hearing in Congress on doctors and immigration. Hopefully Greg was listening to that or will listen to it and live tweet it or has live tweeted it already.
Wait, can you hear me now?
I still can't hear you, Greg, but it doesn't mean that I won't keep talking. Feel free to interrupt me as soon as you think I can hear you. It's part of
Can you hear me now?
No, got nothing yet, my friend. Nothing yet. So something must be wrong with that cam mic button.
All right.
I don't know what that might
Hold
be.
on. Do you hear me now?
Greg is a technical whiz, except with StreamYard. Hey, I will give you an update. We'll just start with the first update while Greg's getting live here. And that is with our H1B case. Let me put that up here. Here, the lottery abuse case. So we are fully briefed. Everything's with the court. The court has received the completed record. The court has not set a hearing in the case. I don't know if we will have a hearing in the case. And the court is well aware that we have a deadline coming up. Greg, are you on live now? Let's see.
It's showing I'm live.
No,
You're not seeing
nothing.
me?
No voice.
Oh, man.
Got nothing for you. I don't know why. It's very weird. Oh, but Lily's here. Let's see if Lily, can you speak?
I can.
I don't hear Lily either. That's really weird here.
Greg, are you silent?
I'm such a moron. Hold on. It's me. It's all about me. My audio has my microphone on instead of my speakers. What a putz. Where are my speakers? Let's see. No, that's not it. This is very weird. This was working earlier. My speakers were gone. Hold on. I'm going to disappear a second. I think a wire may have gone out.
Comments are seeing that they're able to hear all of us. Hey, thank y'all for the tech support.
All right.
Oh, now I can't hear Greg.
Well, this is very weird. Let's see. Why is that not working? This is extraordinarily strange. Headphones, playback device. All right. This is.
How about now?
Oh, yep. There it is. Ha ha.
Though you don't
Ha
hear me.
ha. There you go. You guys can hear me now, right?
I hear both of you fine. Oh, and Greg disappeared.
All right. Now let's get the sound bar working here. All right. That was a little weird. Lily, how are you?
I am doing all right.
Did Greg get off because he thought it was still his problem instead of mine?
Couldn't say.
Get back on to my problem. There's Greg. Greg, this whole thing was my problem, not your problem.
Oh, you hear me now?
I had literally unplugged my Bluetooth speakers. So my speakers.
Right. I think I thought you were making me like totally crazy. I had these new headphones. I was trying them out. There are these noise canceling numbers that with the noise canceling mic, so you don't hear all the construction, everything going on around here.
Well, you sound perfectly great to me. I mean, it's you got great speakers.
Sorry, everybody, for wasting a couple of your minutes.
Yes, that was kind of crazy. So H1B lottery abuse, the judge has the case, and I don't know if he's going to have a hearing. Lily, is he going to have a hearing, Lily? I don't know.
I would love to see a hearing.
It would be a fun hearing.
It's been well briefed.
Oh, I think it's been well briefed. I keep getting DMs from people with companies that are offering to file as many H-1Bs as you want to. It's just that the abuse. There is going to be so many. If the judge does not fix this, I'm guessing 500,000 registrations. Just my guess.
I know.
Why wouldn't you?
I don't want to scare people, but I mean, I think you're right.
Why wouldn't you? I mean, I'm telling my clients right now, we don't win this case, many job offers as you legitimately have, you probably should file. I mean, it's crazy.
And how many lotteries are we going to see? How many waves?
Well,
and how far into the fiscal year?
Good point, Lily, because next Wednesday is the last of the 90 days in which the November selectees have to file their H-1Bs.
Chuck, I think the government already realizes that our case has merit and that what they want, and that's why they're issuing, they've put a notice out that they're going to do another regulation in this. I think what they don't want is for us to force them to do it on a certain timeline and have certain elements in that rule that this is about controlling the process for them at this point, and it's not about the merits of the case.
I agree. Well, that's obvious from their new signature line for registrants that I am not aware that the person I'm registering for has registered with other employers.
Yeah. The problem is that they just because they're not aware of it doesn't mean it's not happening.
Isn't that great? Exactly. And so, but there's a lot of companies out there that are going to scam the system. It's going to be bad. It's going to be really bad. It would also be bad, Lily, if Lily on the end of March, they say, Lily, you need to prepare 100 H-1B applications to file on April 1.
We're not going to be very popular with our colleagues.
No, our colleagues will not like us, but the people that would no longer be abused would, I think, be quite happy.
Well, we've given fair warning, and and the government has certainly have if they do that, we can certainly point the finger at them and saying it's like you had control over this whole thing.
I mean, that's the thing, though. They can literally run an emergency regulation should the judge rule against them and say, yeah, I mean,
right. Or they could postpone the lottery and give us an extra. What's a big deal if they run it in May instead of April? It's not. There's no big deal. It's not like you're going to get adjudicated any faster as part of this process. And so anyway, that's where we are on the H1B lottery abuse case. On the just so you on the DV2022 case, Aaron's not with us. He had a little bit of delay in getting that filed. We anticipate. I think Aaron's getting it wrapped up.
He is trying to wrap it up.
He's crossing all the T's and dotting all the I's and placing all the sites.
He's not on the call today, as I know that he's scrambling on that one.
No, just so people know, we are filing this
any hour, probably by the end of the day.
Yeah, we are filing this in Washington, D.C. That's where we're going to have the case. There is Jesse Bless's DV cases in Kentucky, as I understand it. So ours will be in D.C., and we will likely also probably move pretty quickly for a TRO in that case because there's serious problems as part of this. I don't think we need to be waiting till the end of the year to get a briefing on this. So we'll keep people apprised.
Right, and we'll probably go back to Judge Maida.
Yeah, we're gonna put in a certificate of cases that's related to this and be back there, which gets us to the other DV cases.
Go.
I've got way too many links in here. We've got Go DV2021. Today, our response is due to the government's request for a stay. And I think we have decided not to ask for sanctions.
We did.
Yeah,
I was
you talked a big game, Chuck.
Chatting about that and thinking that was
I think their efforts are sanctionable, but the wording, I mean, they are technically not in violation of the court's order, which gave them literally until the end of the year to do it. So they're technically not in violation. I think what they've done so far is kind of bad faith, but thanks to our colleague Curtis Morrison, yesterday he shared with us a filing from one of his other cases, the Rye case, in which the government has said that their software update to fix their system to issue DV2021 and DV2020 cases in FY 2022 will be finished by April 23rd, which would suspect. I mean, keep in mind, they're asking for a stay because they are perpetually harmed by spending $500,000, which apparently they basically already spent. I mean, that's gone.
A stay meaning, pause the judge's order from being enforced while we're proceeding.
Meantime,
OP.
they got millions of dollars probably in filing fees for
Think
cases
about
that they
that.
never adjudicated in previous years. Just apply a little of that money.
So think about that. So the filing, what you pay per person is, what's it, $355, $455? I don't recall the exact, somewhere around that number per applicant, as
Right.
far as once you get picked in a lottery. Well, if they picked 130,000, let's say 80,000 gave them money, and they only issued 25 of them, they have all that money sitting there for several years. Well, how were they harmed? They actually harmed people. So our brief is, we got a couple affidavits from our clients. They did a really nice job explaining how they're harmed by this. But you know what the government's really relying on? The harm is that if the government wins the appeal, these people will have visas. They will have entered the country as permanent residents.
Yeah.
And that's the harm.
It's pretty sad.
Oh no. The harm is that what happened is exactly what Congress designed the program to do.
That's
Oh, no.
And
The harm
they
is
would
what
eventually-
happened. Right. The harm is essentially the benefit that you were supposed to be provided will actually end up getting provided on there. That is pretty typical.
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
say, at this
So
point, for what we've come to expect from the government.
our response I kept having to get to the thesaurus and look up the synonyms for ludicrous and outrageous and frustrating. I just couldn't keep using those words. It's a broadly vocabulary-wise response to the government brief, and that'll be filed by this evening. A shout out to Waleed for really working hard.
I mean, it's like suing a store that you bought all these goods from, and then the store is saying the harm is that they actually have to provide you the goods that you paid for on there. I mean, it's hopefully the judges will take it for the ridiculous.
I cannot believe the Judge Maida will stay this case. I just think there's zero chance. And the government thinks there's going to be zero chances, which is why they threatened the judge that if he didn't make a decision by the 15th, they would go to the Court of Appeals.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think you threaten judges as a regular course of business, but whatever. So we'll get ours in. The government will have a reply.
There's been a lot of interesting decisions by the Department of Justice in this case and some of the other ones we've worked on as far as strategies that they have selected.
You know what I'm curious about? The court gave them 7 days to respond to our reply to our response. Motion today. Wouldn't it be suspect if they didn't reply the first day? I mean, if they wait a whole week to reply, what do you need to stay for? You didn't even respond quickly to this. That was Judge Polito's whole point. You waited 6 months to file first day. So anyway, that's kind of where we are with DV. And last night in the Gomez case, counsel for Gomez filed their response to the stay. And it's a great response, similar along the lines of ours. They didn't ask for sanctions either, I don't think. So that's kind of where you are. I would suspect Judge Maida will be ruling on this by the end of the month. His point was, hey, your case is nowhere more important than all these other cases that I got, and I have all these insurrectionists I have to deal with. So
If you haven't seen the text of that order, it's pretty great. He said, your suit. You are saying that the plaintiffs are trying to jump the line by asking for something they're not entitled to. And yet here you are asking to jump the line in my courtroom when I have other litigants who filed before you.
Well, and the thing is, the Judge Maida, I think, has seen that government argument repeatedly in a lot of mandamuses, and I think he was kind of sympathetic to it to a certain extent. I think they may have blown that sympathy because he popped that minute order right off the top of his head, it seemed like, to me. So, that's where yikes. I'm glad I'm not them. The other stuff is the K1 litigation that's pending, each of the 3 K1 pending cases. We just, again, the courts have done nothing on this, and I can't explain it. I can't explain it. I just can't explain it about why that's the case.
Chuck, throw the banner.
Oh, goodness. Thank you so much. I always talk about this. So we've got the Rio, the Manila, the Moscow, and the London cases.
I got a
don't know
note
if
from
Lily,
a-
what are our numbers looking like in those cases as far as
No big changes from last week. I got a note this morning that somebody in Manila was granted their visa and they've got their plane tickets to the US, so that's great news. It's most of the plaintiffs in London and no longer Moscow, but the Moscow case have received their visas or are scheduled, and we have a few folks who are still struggling to get processed, and then it's still Rio and Manila that are dragging
the
their
weird
feet,
thing
and if
about
anything,
Rio-
slowing down.
The weird thing about Rio, Lily, is they were making progress.
They were, right. They made early progress with the folks
Yeah.
who were already there, who were, at the consulate, but then getting folks from the NVC, they took their sweet time.
So it was really the NVC that it wasn't necessarily the consulate. It was the NVC that was kind of slow walking, at least the Rio cases.
Well, but then the NVC says, we can't send your case until the consulate requests it. So
Yeah, which is weird because the consulate always says, "What is it? Well, we're not. We wait on them. They just apparently magically send cases to us." That's it was truly one of these situations, wasn't it? It was just not my fault.
we're surprised about how long it has taken the judges to make decisions on those cases. I'm pretty shocked, especially it's been almost a year.
I am flabbergasted. I don't have an explanation for it. I've never seen it in my career. Filed hundreds of cases. I've just never seen anything like this. It doesn't make any sense. The other case I want to talk about is our EAD litigation. We are down to 2 plaintiffs. Now, why the government this morning filed a notice to the court, hey, we've given everybody their EADs and they have a stay request pending. We have a class certification request pending. And they say the court just issued a minute order that said, you know what, government, I'm gonna do the motion for stay first. If I deny that, then you have to respond to the motion for class certification. And the government basically, wrote back and said, hey, we only got 2 people left. Now, what's weird to me, Lily and Greg, is why wouldn't they just adjudicate those 2 and submit a notice to the court where everybody's done?
I bet they lost those files.
Right now.
Those must be for folks who are stuck in the National Records Center cave in Missouri, right?
Yeah, they must not have the physical, because it makes no sense whatsoever. But here's the hubristic statement in that filing. Their cases have only been pending 9.5 months. They use the word only.
Less than 9.5 months. No big deal.
They use the word only. Wow. Now, what happens if they decide, they issue those 2 cases tomorrow? Our argument is that the issue that we have is something that repeats over and over again. And this is very common in class actions where they try to
Capable of
move
repetition yet evading review.
Yeah, so it's, there's even a little jargon about that Lily just talked about. So we'll see what the judge does. I think the fact that the government's saying it's only taking 9.5 months, I just, any rational judge, Judge Leon is going to go, that seems like a really long time for something that you can't even file for 6 months for. You only file 6 months for, it doesn't make any sense to me. So we'll stay on top of that. We'll keep everybody apprised. Technically we can't add plaintiffs at this stage, which is why the class action is so important as part of this process. So that's where we are. Turn that off. And let's go ahead and answer some questions today. Go back. That thing is like going like crazy. All right. So everybody can hear Greg. Yeah, only Chuck couldn't hear Greg. It was the drugs I was on today.
Making me doubt myself.
So I don't know if you have some of my cords. Everybody's got a million cords on their computer, right? Some of my cords are too far away. Like my camera's too far away from the plug, so I had to get a USB extension cord, and I had separated the cables for my speakers. Is what I had done. So it was kind of thing. Okala processing DV20 Go case. Should we wait till April? Well, yeah. Nothing's happening. We will tell you when to communicate with the consulate. When we have news, you will have news. And right now they're trying to not issue any of them. But I think that will go very badly for them after April 23rd if they're not scheduling anybody. And I'm trying to remember when their next when the next status update is due to the judge. I think it was 90 days after the first one.
Chuck, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, the software fix they're trying to do is to try and separate out from an annotation or data, the DV21, separating out the DV years in their software, but that shouldn't have anything to do with the scheduling of appointments.
Well, I would assume they wouldn't schedule appointments, though, until they could actually adjudicate the visa and issue it.
But why
Is my
not? I
guess.
mean, they could have the whole appointment and mark them as, preliminarily qualified
I would
and then
think
issue the
that if
visa.
they have a date that they're pretty certain that they're going to finish their software update or whatever they're going to do, that they shouldn't have any issue making appointments for after that date unless they're not serious about that date.
Did somebody say bad faith? Did I hear bad faith somewhere?
Right. But I mean, that's what they essentially have to convince the judge is that they, that the fact that they're not issuing these appointments has nothing to do with the software fix. Well, anyway,
But again, they have till the end of the year. I mean, they could literally do all these interviews the week of September 23rd. They'd still be in compliance with the order, and that would not surprise me. That would not surprise me. All right. Will the judge provide a desk by happy every day? I don't know which. I think he's talking about the H1B lottery abuse case. And yes, I do think the judge is going to rule by 228. I do. I hope it's not on 228. I hope it's not like one of those Maryland judges on the last day of the year. Oh, yeah, go suck wind. Have a nice day. Nikola Jovanovic, where do I think will happen to the announced possible software update? Nikola, I thought they said April 23rd in their affidavit. And I think Greg just addressed that issue as well. Go plaintiffs from the Ukraine. Oh, my God. I'm really sorry. That's all I can tell you. I'm really, really sorry for what's going on over there. The embassy's closed.
But from a practical point of view, do we know if Warsaw is taking those cases too?
They haven't announced it. They haven't announced it yet. Which consulate is getting those assigned? Now, which again, they're wargaming this whole thing out. I read it in Politico today.
Look, if it is Warsaw, the one good piece of news here is that consulate has done a particularly good job of taking the Moscow cases and getting them dealt with. And I would consider that good news if that's the particular consulate. But my guess is that you need to look at the consular webpage once or twice a day and see if they're making any announcements there. And we should probably hear in the next couple of days, my guess is, about what's going to happen with the consular appointments being rescheduled somewhere else.
Yeah, and of course, if we find out, we'll tweet it out and put it out there as well. So,
and let me address the question asked: is there a chance to seek asylum? So, separate from the question of your DV, is asylum is a different remedy. Asylum is a form of protection that's only available for people who are already in the U.S. or who are standing at the border or in a port of entry, like an airport. There's no such thing as applying for asylum at a consulate, despite what many political commentators might suggest. There is an international refugee process that does provide adjudication and resettlement in the U.S. among other countries. I hope that Ukraine will not become, that there won't be large numbers of displaced persons and refugees, but the short answer is that no, you can't just apply to a consulate and say, I'm scared to be in my country, I want to go to the U.S. That there's no such process.
Now, of course, if you are a DV 2022 winner and you have a visa to the United States, honestly, you might want to come for vacation. I'm just saying. And maybe after 60 days, you change your mind and file for adjustment.
If you have a visa.
If you have a visitor visa and you want to come
come
and visit and preview.
I mean, that people do change their mind after they come to Disneyland and they love it so much they want to stay. I mean, that happens.
Right.
I'm going to tell you, waiting until August to do that is a lot harder. I'm just going to tell you. So,
Yeah.
So again, Andre, a similar question. We will keep you apprised. It's a little premature to ask for a go because they're not issuing visas yet anyway. But that'll be some of the things we get from the government as part of this answering the question.
By the way, I am guessing it's going to probably be Warsaw as well because the Polish government, I think, in the last couple of days has had a lot of comments about a willingness to accept Ukrainian refugees if it comes to that, and probably it would make sense for the U.S. consulate to move those cases to that consulate if that's where physically most Ukrainians outside of the country happen to be.
It's the only direction you can drive that's not surrounded. I don't know. Lily just left. It wasn't me. It's the only direction you can drive that's not surrounded by Russians.
Yeah.
Is east as west. So there's Lily. What happened, Lily? That was weird.
Sorry, I must have hit refresh by accident.
That's where my people are from. My mother's family was from a little town on the Ukrainian-Polish border.
That's
Really?
where my people are from as well. We're probably all distant cousins.
Yaroslav.
But let me apologize now. My family's a little further east from there. Sorry.
Wow. I thought you're German.
Yeah, I am. But it's the eastern side of Germany.
No, that's west of there.
It's west of there. I'm west of there. It's in my brain. Yeah, I'm a little further west, but it's the very western part of West Germany, like Bremerhaven. So that's no, yeah. Sorry. Go plaintiff never received a request for update. We got what we needed, Frostman. Don't worry, and we're good. $330. Okay, only. But isn't there money you paid in advance? I thought there was some money you paid in advance. Maybe I was just wrong about that. But I know they got money at some point. Lots of money. Go plaintiff. Did you fill out the official response to request to go? We're doing that today. Could you share a response? We will. We'll put it up there for everybody to take a look at. We will have to redact some of it, but yes. Any update EAD delay? Go back a little bit earlier, and we did update the EAD delay case about that. It's kind of a weird situation. All but 2 plaintiffs have their EADs. And Mike, if you were a plaintiff, I don't know if you are, but you're not one of the 2. So that means you would have supposedly been approved for an EAD. Who exactly was punished for not following the judge's order? The president, head of the State Department, Florida guy?
Who's Florida guy?
I don't know who Florida guy is. I don't know. Is that like the governor? I don't know who.
Oh, maybe that's the former president who shall not be named.
Oh, the Florida guy. It's Trump. I don't know. Well, it's actually I don't know what the judge would do if they don't follow the order. He'd probably issue contempt. Again, you don't want to have a lawyer at the DOJ who got
Merrick Garland, the one ultimately would get hauled off. Well, that's contempt. That's not.
Brett is one of the 2. Well, that's a good question. Are you actually one of the 2, Brett? I'm gonna look that up here. Let's see.
I think he would know.
You would think he would know if he's got his EAD.
Well,
I've got the 2 listed right here.
the question is that when the government says there are just 2 left, is that accurate?
Well, I don't know. That's a good question.
There could be more, and they're just telling the judge 2 because for some reason they're not getting all their information. Or
Brian is one of the 2. He outed himself.
Brett.
He is one of the 2. So,
Brett.
Why Brian?
Brett.
You have not been approved. I don't know why.
It's Brett, not Brian.
Brett. His wife was approved. I don't know. Next status update is March 14th. So there we go. We'll have no. We'll also know about the 4th lottery selection, presumably by the end of February as well.
February 23rd, is that the deadline that they have?
Yes, they have 60 days to file. Well, the 23rd is the 90th day when you can file from the 3rd lottery. And They certainly haven't announced that they ran out of visas.
Right.
So
that's the day they will know how many.
Yeah. And I bet you they're dollars to donuts. They're not going to conduct a 4th lottery until after the judge's decision. Because that will look really bad, don't you think? It would look really bad. Or maybe they'll do it and it's like, oh, well, nobody told us not to do it. I know. Okay. How many plaintiffs in the DV2022 case? Anybody else from Lebanon? Lily, you don't happen to know that number, do you?
They'll be around 100.
So it's a little fewer than that right now. I can pull up and see if there's anyone else from Bangor.
What will end up happening is we're going to file, and then we get, what do we get, 21 days, Chuck?
21 days we can amend with more
Yeah,
people.
so there's always in these cases usually a couple dozen people that join the case after we file. So it'll probably be about 100 by the time it's
Okay.
over.
Cool. All right. We
So
don't have
far,
any
only
else-
one person from Beirut.
Only one from Beirut. Well, somebody's got to be from Beirut, and Beirut is such a terrible situation with that explosion at the port. It's been just terrible since then. I mean, I've got a lot of good friends there. Very, very difficult situation. I feel bad for all you folks. We certainly want to get you out of there. I don't think I have anything else, guys. Nice short live today. We'll be back next week, hopefully with some answers. Talk about DV2022 next week.
Stay on after, Chuck, because Lily and I want to talk to you about something.
Oh, yeah. Well, Greg, what about today's doctor?
Oh, yeah. So I will not be doing my live streaming at 1 because there's a really important hearing happening in the House Immigration Subcommittee on physician immigration. And I know all the panelists for the Democrat side. The Republicans have picked a January 6th insurrectionist as one of their witnesses to talk about physician immigration on there.
What, the guy wouldn't treat him at the hospital? I mean, I don't.
Well, he's a non-doctor in charge of a group called Doctors for Jobs or Doctors Without Jobs.
If you are a doctor without a job in America in 2022,
yeah,
you got bigger issues than not having a job. I mean, really.
It's not easy to be unemployed as a physician. Anyway, so that's happening, and I will be live tweeting that hearing. We're keeping fingers crossed for my good buddy Kristen Harris. I don't know if you guys know her. She's a very good AILA member in Chicago who's been working with me for years on this stuff, and we've had a number of conversations as far as for getting ready for this, and then one of the doctors who I've gone to Capitol Hill with several times, Dr. Kura from Missouri, is testifying, and should be good. But this is important stuff if you're a skilled immigrant, regardless of whether you're a doctor or not, because some of the things that they are looking to fix for doctors will have wider repercussions. Plus, if they do some of the things like taking doctors out of the green card cap, that means everybody else moves faster. So
that would be good stuff. Good stuff for sure.
Yeah.
Also note that our good old friend Betsy Lawrence moved from the Immigration Subcommittee, Judiciary Committee, Legal Counsel to the White House. Now, I don't know whether to congratulate her or pity her, but
if there's anybody, I think that Betsy, if there's anybody that could make some change,
it's Betsy.
Betsy. She's awesome, and yeah, she's really. First of all, she's super smart, but second of all, she's a wonderful person, very savvy. I think politically, I think she will be our best hope probably in a while
to turn things around at the White House, which has left us all flabbergasted at this point.
Yeah.
Just one last thing, Jerry, the H1B litigation updates are from earlier. Go back earlier, look for the icon, and we put it up there. All right, you two, have a wonderful week. We'll see you soon. Watch Greg on the Twitter machine. Thank you, Lily. Be awesome. Bye-bye.